You guys recalled Alan Smiley-Geach. Should he anticipate playing time, or is it simply nice to have him around at this level?
No, he's here. He's not going to suit up. We have everybody else is suited up. You know, our two-way guys are both healthy, Damian and Kai. So we're at 13. So Smiley came up this morning. He played in L.A. last night, and just came up to be around the team and to see the training staff, and then he'll head back to Santa Cruz.
Is Eric playing tonight?
I'm sorry?
Is Eric Pascal playing tonight?
Yeah, Eric's playing.
Okay.
Hi, Steve. Have you gotten a chance to talk to David Fizdale? I know he had spent time with the franchise a couple years ago. I mean, have you spoken to him, and any other thoughts on him getting enough of an opportunity in New York?
We texted after the news came out. We haven't spoken, and no, I don't have any other thoughts or comments.
Well, I mean, you had mentioned something last week about how maybe if you were in New York, things.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something where, there's not enough patience maybe given to this situation where, the Knicks had a lot of young players and.
Well, I'm not focused on what they're doing. I made that comment, and it was sincere. These jobs are really, really difficult. These head coaching jobs, they're hard to find, they're hard to get, and then once you're in them, you're really dependent on your players, the talent level of your players, and the support of your organization and the strength of your organization. So my comments the other night were sincere, and I'll let them speak for themselves.
Hey, Coach. 5 wins this year for you guys. Obviously, you're dealing with the injuries and integrating a lot of young players here. So if you're not going to win on a nightly basis like you have been in the past, what's a win for you with this group?
Well, I think the point of this season for us is to develop our young players. We've got a lot of interesting young prospects, and so we're trying to teach them every day and give them every opportunity to play and figure out which ones are going to be part of our future and try to help each of them progress and make the most of their own circumstances and their own careers. And in the meantime, get healthy and look to the future. We'll try to bounce back. But obviously, with Steph and Clay out, it's the focus has shifted more to the development of the young guys.
With Pascal specifically, the 41st pick, now he's in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Sometimes there's the bias that maybe 4-year players get overlooked. Is that how you look at this, or why do you think he has developed here so quickly?
Well, he's physically he stands up to anybody in the NBA. He's just a big, strong, explosive kid. And then I think having 4 years in college is a big deal. We tend to gravitate towards the younger guys because of the potential. There's so many players who come into the league after 1 year of school, or maybe playing overseas or whatever. But there's a pretty big difference between 19 and 21. Maturity-wise, physically. And so I think there's a lot to be said for players who have stuck it out in college. Draymond Green is one of them. He's a great example of it. And so Eric stands out in that regard as somebody who came in physically ready to play, but also emotionally, maturity-wise, he's ready.
The guys from Run TMC are reuniting for our broadcast, and that trio just had 2 years together. But why do you think their legacy carries on?
Well, they were a dynamic scoring trio, and I think at the time, I think the whole league was kind of enamored with their play. It was the early '90s. '89. So it's kind of late 80s, early 90s that if you remember the league at that time had gotten really physical and everybody was just beating the hell out of each other. And then you had these three guys on the West Coast who were running up and down, having a really good time, scoring 120 a game. I think people were enamored with that. In some ways, they were ahead of their time. You know, Nelly was kind of the original small ball guy, and he doesn't get enough credit for it today. But what everybody's doing now, you know, downsizing, he did it long before anyone else. And so Mitch and Tim and Chris were, you know, they were part of that group, or one of Nelly's groups that played small, and they were fast and fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty cool nickname, too.
Hey, Steve, when you were playing, it was kind of like during the golden era for the Knicks, and you know, with the Bulls, even the Spurs, you played them in the finals. How special is it when New York has a good basketball team, and is it perplexing to you or worrisome that it's been so long since they've been good?
Yeah, I've got great memories, particularly when I was with Chicago, of playing in the Garden and you know, hearing the Go New York, Go song. And I didn't really like it at the time, but looking back, fantastic rivalry. And those teams were tough, physical. They had an identity. The fans fell in love with those teams, and the Garden was just electric. So I think people recognize that New York is a basketball town. It's a basketball city, and I think most people in the league want the Knicks to be good. I know I do. I think it's something that's missing from the league. We need them to have success. They're a marquee franchise, and as for why it's been a long drought, and you guys look into that a lot more carefully than I do, but I would like to see things get turned around there for the sake of the league and the sake of the Knicks fans, because they have great fans there, and it's every year we go there one time a year. It's one of my favorite places to play.
Steve, have you gotten a chance to watch Allen's film from Santa Cruz, and do you have any thoughts on his development?
Yeah, I've watched him a couple of times. I think he's doing well. He's you know, he's a young kid. He's just turned 19, so he's got some growing to do. He's got to get in better shape. He looks like he's dragging out there sometimes. He gets tired quickly. You know, he's carrying a pretty big body up and down the court, but he's very skilled. You can see, you know, how he knocks down threes and puts the ball on the floor. Very coordinated, very skilled, and good prospect. So he's exactly where he should be, you know, getting a lot of playing time in Santa Cruz.
Steve, you faced Nilikina with Team USA at the World Cup, where he had a pretty good game against your guards. What makes him such a good defender despite his young age?
Well, he's really long and active, and he's got good anticipation. He can guard either spot. You know, when we played France, he was good on and off the ball. You know, you could tell he had good instincts, and so he's an excellent defender.